All right, welcome to episode 2. Um, I thought of something that might make this a bit easier, which is just to um, kind of jump off of what I said in the last episode, which I mean in general, not just what I said last episode, but you know, um, kind of more explaining something I mentioned before that I didn't really go into much detail, or I explained very poorly, which will probably happen a lot. Um, so yeah, um, at the last ep okay, let me try to. Because that's the thing I do, which I'm doing right now, is never getting to the fucking point. Because I don't necessarily like getting to the fucking point, but I'm also very bad at it. So yeah, even if I try. Um, what is the point? That's what I'm already stalling, not on purpose. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. Now my mind is blanking out. Talking. That's what I wanted to talk about. Um, how I talk, how I like to talk, that sort of thing. Because I mentioned at the end of near the end of the last episode, something about how I one time had this conversation with this one guy on Discord in a text chat, and we were just uh, disagreeing very heavily, but it was still a good time and so on. And that's kind of what I want to talk about a bit more, like how I like to talk and that kind of stuff. And this, like right now, me stalling like this, and not just stalling, but like not getting to the fucking point kind of ties in because I don't really like getting to the fucking point. Like I mentioned last time, the conversation was like an hour long and we didn't really get anywhere at all. Um, um, yeah, because we didn't get to the fucking point. I don't like getting to the fucking point. Why would you get to the fucking point? Like I get if you just like are looking for information or something. Oh, I'm just gonna Google some random fact or some shit. I just want to know this right now. Then I understand why you would want to get to the point immediately. But with conversations and stuff, I pretty much only enjoy them when they're a bit more. Okay, the thing that I like, what I'm doing right now is not what I like in conversation. What I'm doing right now is being retarded because I don't know how to talk like a fucking human being. What I like to do is explain something and then like explain it properly with like all the words, not just some of the words. So what I mean by this is, um, for example, I once talked with my mother about this exact thing, like, oh, how do you talk? How do I like to talk, and so on. And she kind of compared the way I talk and the way my sister talk. Where my sister does this thing where she like starts talking and then doesn't fucking stop. And I also do this thing where I start talking and I don't fucking stop, but we do it in different ways. Where my sister does more something along the lines of talking about like 5 million different things and not really making any point, kind of going from one thing to the next and never stopping something along those lines. I'm not really sure how she explained it exactly, and I don't talk it often to my sister because I don't really give a shit. So, so I'm not entirely sure. But the thing that she said that I do is that I kind of like start somewhere and then I move out from there, explain like let's say 50 different things that aren't essential to getting the point across, but they do help. Like it's still something that's related to the main point I'm trying to make. Like the main point I'm trying to make usually can probably in theory be explained in like 2, 3, 4 minutes, maybe less. I don't know, just a few minutes. I will take longer, even if I try to make it fast. But in theory, it's something that can be explained relatively quickly. But I don't really know how to do that, how to really get to the point, and I also don't really want to. Like, like even if I'm trying, I fail. But I don't know how often I'm even trying. I mean, in general, when I'm having a conversation, I'm just kind of trying to talk as quickly as possible and just get really nervous and worried that I annoy the other person with, I mean, the rambling I'm doing right now. Like, stall. I mean, the point. What's the point? What is the point? What's the point? What point am I making? That sort of thing. I'm just panicking, trying not to do that. Um, but what I like to do is like make a point, kind of vaguely explain it, not really in a way that's probably enough to, for the other person to understand it, and then explain like a bunch of other tangentially related points. And then after like 20 minutes of rambling, I finally get back to like the original point that I made. And hopefully at that point it makes sense because like I explained all the other things that are related to that one point. When in theory I could have just explained the point itself, but I don't know how. And I, in general, like that's a thing. I don't know if if that's like a fucking autism thing or something. If that's just me or the fucking autism. What did I want to say? Oh yeah, about explaining and understanding things that I need to like have things explained in more detail, or I don't get them. Like someone can explain something, and then most people would get it, but I'm like, wait, what? What is this human being talking about? I don't know what human beings what they're thinking. Like I don't know what it is exactly, but it's almost like there's some kind of subtext or something that other people inherently understand, and so if you give them like a short explanation, they do understand it right away. Meanwhile, I just don't get it all at all, and just need to ask 20 more questions and need a bunch of extra clarifications. So I also like to one get that from the other person and to talk that way myself. To really like if you don't really explain stuff in very extensive detail, then I don't really get the point of talking about it at all because then it's like what are you even saying? What? I don't get it. And even more than that, I just don't get the appeal. I don't understand why I would care if you don't explain why I would care. Kind of like with video essays, what I said that I don't really care if they just oh this happens. I don't give a shit. Like explain not just like for one, explain your feelings first of all. I'm not gonna care at all. And if you just state your feelings, I'm not gonna understand them and not able to care. So yeah, I like it when people actually explain themselves and then like really explain why they feel the way they do to whichever degree they can. Which I mean, it's usually pretty difficult. Like most people, including myself, probably don't understand that well why they are feeling the way they do. And so really explaining it in detail is probably very difficult. But sometimes even just like going a little bit in detail, it's like, oh, you actually like somewhat managed to vaguely put into words why your feelings are the way they are. You know, when people manage to do that, I like that a lot. It instantly is going to make me like the video a lot more. Um, and yeah, real people don't really talk like that, which is probably why I fucking hate talking to other people. Um, it's like this thing of like, how compatible are you? Because like there's one guy on Discord, some very, very, very old guy, like really old, and I occasionally talk with him, and he doesn't really like talking with me. Like it's not like he hates me. I do hate him for unrelated reason, but you know, he's fine. He's all right. He's all right. But the thing is just that he prefers, I think, to get to the point, and he also prefers to like actually talk, like on voice chat, for example. If like in general, I would prefer to talk instead of write as well, to like have more of a like this human connection thing. Like talking feels better in that way. But the problem is again that I like to talk like this and really elaborate and all that stuff, and then my mind gets all jumbled up and I don't know what I'm saying. And right now I'm relatively calm, but if I'm talking to another human being, I'm thinking like, oh shit, I'm wasting their time. I need to get to point. I need to get, yeah. And then I just get like really confused, and then instead of explaining myself, I just kind of like, oh, and say whatever is the first thing I can think of, and then maybe they get what I'm saying. They probably won't. Maybe they have no fucking idea what I'm saying, and maybe they think that they know what I just meant, but I probably didn't meant what I said because I'm stupid. Yeah, more likely than not, they're just going to be confused. But maybe they're going to think they understand it. But it's very unlikely that they actually understand what the fuck I'm talking about because I'm just, and then that's that. But if I'm writing stuff out, then at the very least I can like think about what I'm going to say or write and then change stuff and then get it all together and then finally post it. And then hopefully they will understand. At least I like. I mean, if someone did that, I would understand. I sometimes get a feeling that I'm actually confusing the other person even more if I do that, because it's like I'm doing this thing where I'm like trying to explain one point, and then I need like five other points to like really explain the point properly. But to me, if someone does that, I guess I probably would understand what they mean, and oh, it's about this first point, and then all this other stuff is like related to it. Whereas they just kind of seem to look at least Eddie does that. Yeah, fuck you, Eddie. At least. At least the old man does that, where he just seems to like grab one of those points and then, oh, this, like this, no, not this, no, Eddie, no, no. Um, and then like all the points are kind of connected, but then the other person I'm talking to, it's not just that he does that, some other people do it too. They just kind of grasp, like it seems like they're randomly grabbing onto one of the points, maybe just the one that they find the most interesting or something. I'm not sure what it is. Like when I'm doing a text chat with someone and I'm trying to like respond to everything they say, and like he explicitly told me that he hates when I do that. So at this point, we just kind of stopped texting all that much in general because it just doesn't really work. He just wants to kill himself every time. I mean, he's a nice guy. He still tried and still put himself through that and read my fucking 10-hour long text and then responded with like his like 50 minutes long text, which is still way too long for him, way too much to type. But he's kind. He's a kind guy. Um, but we're not very compatible in that regard. Um, yeah. Did I make my point or did I? Oh, I'm getting lightheaded again. Oxygen is annoying. Having to breathe. I don't like having to breathe. Anyways. Um, yeah. So I actually don't know if I made the point at this point. Like that's what also what I mean. Like if I had written all of this down, I could just like go back and read through it again, and then okay, I forgot this and this and that, and then I add that, and then at least I finished that. But now I'm like recording it, and I mean I could just stop and listen to the recording, but for one that would take longer. It's like 11 minutes long at this point, even if I speed it up. It's yeah, it's it's gonna be hard to understand if I speed it up too much, and if it's gonna take a while. Anyways, that's annoying. Is the point? There's no point. It's just annoying. But yeah, that's the problem I have with talking with other people because I can't really talk with them in a way that feels worthwhile to me without like annoying them and wasting their time. And then because I'm worried about annoying them and wasting their time, I don't even try to talk like this and elaborate and so on. And instead, I just and try to make it as quickly as possible. And then I just kind of skip over it, and the other person sounds kind of confused, but they also don't seem like they care. I mean, I don't talk to that many people. Like, it's possible a lot of the stuff I say is just true for Eddie. Maybe not the best metric for a normal human being either, but um, yeah. Maybe I should talk to just more people. But generally, it's one or the other. It's either that I like talk and ramble and feel like I might just be annoying them and wasting their time, or that I just don't really know what to say or how to phrase it. So I either just say it really fast and it doesn't make any sense, or I just say nothing, and then I just kind of leave it at that. And then and then that's that. Yeah. Okay, let's just I guess move on to a different thing, which is still related, which is still tying into this because I'm making one point and it's a million points that all tie into one point. I don't know. Like I just want to talk to people is what I'm saying. It's what I'm. I mean, this is kind of why I'm doing the podcast, I guess. Like I don't know what I actually expect to happen. I mean, what I expect to happen is nothing. What I expect to happen is to me make a few episodes, then get fucking tired of it and then give up and then move on with my life and be fucking yeah. What do I do with my life again? What do I do? That's kind of what I'm expecting, but not really what I'm hoping. I'm hoping on some level is that I maybe figure something out, or maybe someone will listen to this and they go like, hey, this person sounds insane in just the right way, and maybe I find someone I can actually talk to. Um, because again, if I like, there are people that I can talk with, and then we're having conversations, and I know those people, and I even like some of those people, and I even get along with some of those people sometimes. Um, but it's like, yeah, I don't really feel any connection on any other level. Like I don't know what human connection is. I don't know what the point of conversation is. All of that. I'm just really confused by human beings. And it's like I do on some level care about those people. I wouldn't want them to like burn to death and then very slowly have their skin melt off their faces and something, and they're slowly dying in agony. Like I wouldn't wish that upon them. I like them. That's a lie. But they're all right. They're all right. Fuck you, Eddie. But again, it's like I can talk to those people, and sometimes we have a good time in the sense that we're just like talking about dumb shit and joking around. Like that can be fun. But I don't know how to like really connect with someone and really like have a conversation that really feels worthwhile beyond just, oh, that's funny. Because if it's just funny, that's nice and I liked it a lot. And I would be fine if that's what most conversations were. But if that's what all conversations are, then it's like pretty much all conversations I have are either just, ooh, that's funny, that's nice, haha, or they're just like, please, someone kill me. I hate this. This is boring. I don't give a shit about anything the other person is saying. And then, like, again, either I pretend that I care and they're like, oh, yeah, keep talking, or I just kind of ignore them and then they leave. So yeah, I don't really know what to do about this. Like, I'm always like, it's always this thing of like, oh, is this or that problem something that you can solve or something that you have to accept, something that you can work on, that you can change, or something that you can't? Because this is not about just my behavior. This is about like my actual opinions and feelings and how I like enjoy conversations. If it was just like change my behavior so that I can have longer conversations with people and like maybe even like talk in a way that makes sense to them, that they can have a good time or whatever, like I can do that. I can just pretend to be a human being. I'm not very good at it, but I'm good enough that it works, at least kind of. So that's not really the problem. But the question is like, how do I get something out of this? How do I enjoy the conversation? Because it's not just that I feel, oh, I should talk to people because that's what you're supposed to do. It's more like I am a human being and I've tried not talking to people for a few years and so on, and that didn't end too well. Not that I literally never talk to anyone, but like just I'm sitting in my room all day, barely talking to my family, that sort of thing. Not really good for your mental health. I wouldn't recommend. And in general, I just like even if I'm having conversations with people, then at least I'm not feeling like I'm completely losing my mind. But again, it doesn't really feel like I'm getting much out of those conversations, and then it just still feels like there's something missing. Like even if I'm having conversations that are fun, it doesn't really feel like it's enough to just like joke around and so on. I feel like there's some aspect to it that's missing. Again, like human connection or something. I don't know what it is. So the question is like, okay, how do I get this? As I see it, there are probably two options, and one option is probably not actually possible, which is like on the one hand you can change yourself, and on the other hand you can look for different people, and that's like the thing what I'm always like wondering about, but not actually doing anything about. Like on the one hand, it's like, okay, do I like try to change myself? First of all, how? Like how do I just force myself to like something I don't like? Like I don't really think you can do that. You can do that to an extent, I guess, if, with like familiarity and getting used to stuff, that it's less miserable. But if the whole point is not, oh, I'm doing this thing to get some end result, like you're doing a job or something and you hate it and you force yourself, you can maybe get yourself to like not enjoy it necessarily, but be fine with it and it's less miserable. And then you still like get paid or whatever, you get still something out of it. But like the whole point of talking to people would be to enjoy it. So like if I don't enjoy it, why am I even doing it? That sort of thing, you know? So it's like obviously I have to talk at the very least so that I don't lose my mind as a human being. But I would also like to actually properly enjoy the conversations and this human connection thing and so on. So I don't know how to do that. If I can change myself so that I can get something out of conversations that other people get something out of, because then if that was the case, if we would just like kind of vibe with each other in a way that works out, then there wouldn't be a problem. But again, I don't think that's possible to just change myself like that. Maybe it is, but I don't think it is. So the other option would be to just like ditch everyone, leave the fucking server, tell them all to go fucking kill themselves, and try to find other people elsewhere. With which I mean, that seems like on the one hand, it seems like oh, I'm just trying to like run away from the work of like working on myself and fixing this. But again, I don't think it's something that I can change. It might make the most sense to actually just like find different people to talk to. So I would like to do that, I guess, but I also don't, like on the one hand, I don't know who to talk to in the first place, and on the other hand, I'm also just kind of scared of it. Um, like the server I am on right now, this whole thing was just a weird coincidence. Like, um, I just kind of like went to the first place where how is- my mind is melting. Okay, hold on. Um, the point is that I just went to this fucking server and instantly found people that I somewhat got along with, which like at that point I had this like I had not really interacted with anyone other than my family for like half a decade or something, maybe longer, I don't know. And even before that, in school, I never did that much either. So I just kind of assumed that it would take like, oh, it would take like 10 years of me like working on my social skills and talking to people and so on until I finally get to a point where I then somehow manage to like find people I can actually get along with. And then like, oh, the first place I went to, there are actually a bunch of assholes that are pretty nice, you know? So that was nice. And again, I do enjoy spending time with them, but it also doesn't really feel like I fit in, kind of, let's say, um, in general, like not just the way I think and talk, but also the kind of person I am. But also, it is a sort of thing where it feels like, okay, am I even gonna find anyone else that I'm gonna vibe with better than those people? Like probably, but I don't know how long that's gonna take, and I don't know what to do. I mean, the reasonable thing, I guess, would be to just like occasionally still spend time with these people, and then the rest of my time just try to find other people elsewhere, and then maybe I'll find someone. I mean, I don't have to completely abandon these people. Like we can still hang out every now and then. Again, I like them. It's just like I would much rather like find different people that work out better with me, you know? Um, or maybe it is something where it's just like me being retarded and there's something I could do to change and everything would work. But I don't believe that's the case. I think I just really need to find people I can get along with better. I don't know. Um, I mean, I think you can get along on some level with basically everyone, unless you like have completely different worldviews, or you like killed their parents and children or something. Unless it's something severe like that, you can probably at least get along and maybe even have a good time with most people. But like actually become like close friends or whatever, and really feel like you get something out of it and connect with them and so on. Like I don't know, maybe you have to be a specific kind of person to do it with like literally everyone, even if you don't really vibe it well. I don't fucking know. I just don't know. I would just assume that I just have to find different people and that's that. But I could be wrong. You know, you can always be wrong about everything, but I have no reason to think that I'm wrong about this. So I should just go talk to other people, and I don't know how to do that, and I'm too afraid to do that, which is probably on some level why I started this podcast. Not because I think anything will actually come of it, but again, it's possible that someone listens to it and then they go, "Oh yeah, you're fucking insane in the same way I'm fucking insane. Maybe we can get along." And then maybe someone will talk to me. Maybe it will work out. I have no idea. I just know that I'm too much of a fucking coward to just, I don't know, go out and talk to people. I wouldn't even know how to fucking do it in real life. Like I could, in theory, just join like I don't know 20 random different Discord servers and just talk to the people there. But I don't really know how to do that and how really to get myself into a conversation in the first place. If it's like most fucking Discord servers either have like thousands of people on there and then no one ever joins the fucking voice chat. Everyone is just constantly in text chat and the voice chat is just fucking dead. Ugh, my bad. Or it's like um, yeah, so it's where there are like 20, 30 people in the voice chat at the same time. Or maybe even it's like a bunch of different voice channels and then six, seven people in one. And everyone already knows each other and they're having a conversation about something. And I don't care what they're talking about. So I don't really have anything to add. And I just don't just want to randomly butt in and change the conversation. And that's a different thing because it's not just that I don't really like the way other people talk in terms of like actually, oh, going into detail and actually explaining yourself properly and all that kind of stuff. I also don't know what to talk about. Like the only thing I'm talking about, like the things I've been talking about here on those two episodes, like this whole I don't know how to talk to people, dude. I can talk about how I don't know how to talk to people about for like hours, dude. Like I can talk about it for days. That's not a problem. But like that's basically the only thing I talk about. Just like what the fuck is wrong with me? No, not like what the fuck is wrong with me. That's what I can talk about. The things that are wrong with me. That's something I'm familiar with. There, I know things about that. I can say things about that. But I don't have any other interests really, anything I really give much of a shit about, nothing really to say. So most of the time when other people talk, I just kind of like try my best to pay attention, but my brain just kind of turns itself off and it's like, I don't give a shit. What the fuck are you saying? Like I'm usually just really confused, like especially when I'm like talking with my mom or someone like that. When she's like we're walking dog or something and she's having a conversation with someone else, I'm just really confused most of the time. Like, what the fuck are you people talking about? Why do you give a shit? What are you even saying? They're talking about like what other people are doing, just their daily lives or something. I don't even pay attention. Like even if I try to, my mind just kind of like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? And that's kind of how I feel in general when I'm listening to other people talk. It's either stuff where it's just like, oh, I've heard the same conversation a million different times ago from like 20,000 different YouTubers all saying the same things, or random Reddit posts, or people on Discord, everyone just saying the same shit of, oh yeah, this is this thing that's really annoying about like modern society or something. I don't give a shit. I don't even care if I agree or disagree with you. I've heard the same thing a million fucking times. I don't care. Shut the fuck up. It's either something like this. Um, where I mean, if I disagree with them, I'm probably gonna get even more annoyed. But even if I agree with them, I would just want them to shut the fuck up. I don't care. I've said this a million times before. Or it's like just something where I just don't care at all, and I'm just confused. Why are you even talking about those? This like, I don't care. Why would you care? What are you? What are you? Like I'm in those moments, I'm literally like legitimately confused. Like, am I even a human being? Are those guys human beings? What the fuck is wrong with them? what is going on? Like, I don't feel like the same species. What is this? So yeah, um, if everything that if anything, it just makes me even more makes me feel even more confused and isolated and so on. And that's probably part of the reason why I don't really try to talk with other people, because it's just frustrating and makes me feel even more lonely than I already feel. So I probably just try to avoid it because of that reason. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like the outcome if I join like some Discord server is that I will sit there in the background maybe for several hours, not say anything, and then eventually I leave. Or alternatively, someone says something to me. Probably like usually it's like I join and then like within a few seconds someone says something to me, especially if there are like only three, four people in the call. And then I say words and then maybe the conversation goes somewhere. Usually it doesn't, and then that's that. But it's very rare to feel like this was actually a worthwhile endeavor on any level. And like I can't change other people's behavior, so I definitely have to change something about my behavior. But I don't really know what, because again, I don't know what I want to talk about. I feel generally just anxious about it. I don't know like what the other person wants to talk about. I don't give a shit about what the other person wants to talk about. Like it's really rare for me to like have a conversation where I say something and feel like I'm having a good time and just like talking about stuff like this right now. That is rare enough, but it's even rarer for me to care about what the other person is saying. So I just don't give a shit, and then I just like do it. Maybe I do it for several days. Just join random Discord calls and then like just sit there quiet. Maybe occasionally I'll say something, and then that's that. And then after a few days, I go, okay, this didn't work, and then I leave. I mean, sometimes I did it for like several months every day, and it still didn't work because I'm not really taking the initiative, because I don't know how to take the initiative, because I don't actually care. I just care about the fact that things aren't working out. I don't know how to make them work. I don't have anything to say. Yeah. Let me stop the recording. Maybe I'll talk some more in a few hours, a few days. I hope this won't take too long again. Anyways, okay. All right. Next recording. Do I want to be understood? Do I want to understand other people? I don't fucking know. Um, I'm just thinking about it because I just had a conversation with someone, and it was. I'm gonna try to speak a little bit slower. I'm not gonna try to speak. It's annoying. I'm gonna try to speak a little bit clearer. I hope that helps. Anyways, I was having a conversation with someone else, and it's those things where like you explain something and you think you're perfectly clear. There's no possible way that you could explain what you just explained any clearer. I mean, there always is, but you're just like, no, 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 I did a good job. It's fine. But then it's like there are other people who like look at the world different from what you do. And so they just kind of like read some weird kind of subtext in that you didn't intend to be there at all and that you hadn't even considered could be there. But it makes like perfect sense to them. Like they read what you just wrote and they're like, oh, actually, you mean this, right? And you're like, no, I mean what I said. And they're like, wait, it doesn't make any sense, because they just view things differently. And it's really annoying. But it's like, I guess that's what is to be expected. Uh, because we're different people, we're viewing the world differently, all that kind of bullshit. That's just how it is. Um, I'm just annoyed, like, and I'm just kind of trying to figure out how I feel about it exactly and why I feel that way. Because like on the one hand, I could just say, "Oh my God, this fucking piece of shit doesn't understand what I'm saying. This makes me mad." Or I could say, "Oh my God, how the fuck can I explain myself better? What is wrong with me?" Or I could just say, "Yeah, it makes sense that this person would feel that way, and that makes me angry. Why are they different from me?" And I don't really know what I want or what would be best or healthy or whatever. I mean, getting angry is rarely the healthy option. I don't know what I want though. Like, I can just do what I'm doing right now, which is just like not right now, as in right now. I mean, I'm talking right now. What I did in that conversation, which is just to try to explain myself calmly and collectedly, which I think is the nice thing to do. What I want to do is just call them a fucking retard and get angry. Not because I think that it's like reasonable that, oh yeah, they're stupid. No, it's just like, we just view the world differently. It just They just misunderstood. Like, that's fine. If anything, well, I was gonna say if anything, that's my fault, but I don't believe that either. I think that's just what communication is. You're just gonna misunderstand each other. That's just normal. And then, if you're not being an asshole, you can just explain, and the other person can try to explain. You just can try and come to a solution, to understanding whatever the fuck. Explain yourself. I don't know. Sometimes it's nice. Sometimes I just get pissed. Uh, I mean, in the last episode, I said, "Oh, this whole process of explaining yourself over and over, it's what I like about conversations," and I guess that's true. But right now, it just pissed me off. Maybe it's because I already don't particularly like the other guy. Not that I hate everything about him or whatever, but just like he's sometimes pretty annoying. And I guess it's less a case of him being annoying because the other guy is also pretty fucking annoying. It's just a more case of I haven't talked to this guy as much, so like there's less positive things about him. Like the other guy is fucking obnoxious, and I disagree with him on many things, but we can also just be retards together, just being fucking stupid and talking about dumb shit and having a good time. So maybe I'm willing to be a bit more lenient. And if like literally the same conversation happens with someone where I don't have any positive feelings on them already, I'm probably just gonna be a dick and gonna be angry. Like not necessarily that I'm gonna act like a dick. I might still manage to remain calm and just explain over and over and, just trying to get to an understanding. But on the inside, I'm going to be seething. I'm just going to be pissed. Whereas with the other guy, I was also pissed, but I was also like, oh, that's funny. Yeah. But that's the thing. Um, Other people feeling different. I'm mad. Why am I mad? Why do I care? I don't know. And like, not at the same time, but also like this whole thing. I can explain myself to other people. They can explain themselves. Like, do I want this? I mean, it seems like the nice thing to do to like be calm and collected and like just having a discussion and try to explain yourself. And then like, oh, I understand you, you understand me. We don't need to agree. That's fine. We can just end the conversation there. Or we can just like keep arguing till the end of time, which I generally don't like. Like I want to be understood and I want to understand the other person on some level. So I guess that's the answer. I guess that's what I want. I don't know why I want that, but I do. And I guess it's just like it just doesn't feel like I want it enough. Like it's not really worth it. And I guess that's what I'm getting at, and that's why I'm getting annoyed and pissed at this guy. I'm not really pissed right now anymore. I was pissed while I was reading his stuff, um, his messages, but now it's just kind of like, yeah. I mean, I've cooled down. It is what it is. It's just there are misunderstandings. And again, it's not that the misunderstanding itself pissed me off. It just pissed me off that our worldviews are so different that that misunderstanding was even possible. So that's what I'm getting mad at, that people are different from me. But getting mad at that, obviously, like obviously on the one hand, that doesn't change anything, and on the other hand, even if it did, like I mean, why would I care? Like why? Like I don't understand why I care that people are different from me, but it does make me mad, and I think most people feel that way. That if people are too different from them, and oh, you believe this, you're a fucking monster, you asshole, blah 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 blah. I don't care. I mean, I do care. That makes me mad, but it makes me mad that it makes me mad. And you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be like this. I am like this. I'm a fucking human. Why are humans like this? Maybe not everyone is like this, but most people are like this. Fuck the human race. I hate everything. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have anything to add to that. If I can, I mean, I'm talking about this right now because I don't want to feel this way, but I also don't know how I would want to feel. It's like, okay, like, what are your beliefs? What is your worldview? What do you care about? Gives like meaning to your life? And I'm just like, that's stupid. I don't want that. That's stupid. But not having that is also stupid. I don't know. Well, it's not stupid. It's just bad. Maybe it is stupid. I don't know. Maybe nothing is stupid to begin with. Maybe everything is just like nothing. It's just like, I mean, yeah. I mean, this is all just subjective experiences. What are my thoughts? What are my opinions? I mean, it's just frustrating. It's just annoying. My belief is that having beliefs is stupid, and so I'm stupid, and that makes me mad. And other people are stupid, and that makes me mad. I think that's the point to all of this. I'm just mad. I'm not mad right now. I'm just mad in general at everything. Everything sucks. Um, yeah, I could extrapolate on that and just say the same things for 10 hours straight, but I don't think that would make the point any more clearer. I think it's clear enough. I think I'm just gonna stop here. Um, Yeah, next recording later. All right, so what's the point of fucking food? Like why the fuck are you eating? Why would you eat? Like, I mean, obviously there's the necessity to survive. You gotta eat if you don't want to die, and you also gotta eat if you don't want for everything to hurt. So that's understandable. But like, why do people care so much about like food, like just eating for fun or whatever? I mean, I'm not saying that I don't do that at all. Like, I just kind of out of boredom. But like, if I wouldn't have to eat, I probably just wouldn't. Not even in terms of, oh, it's just such a waste of time or whatever. More like why do you care? Like, if I wouldn't have to eat, I would probably just forget about it. Um, and it's like over the last decade or something, I don't know, I've gotten more used to this whole eating thing. And yeah, food can be nice, I guess. Yeah, it's neat. But why are people so obsessed with it? Why do you care? It's just, I mean, it's just like you just eat and then it's that. Like, what is it about taste? Like, why are you so obsessed with that? Um, I didn't actually have a point beyond that. I was just thinking, okay, like, why is it? Why is this? Let me complain, but I don't really care either way. Um, maybe I should just stop with the fucking podcast. I don't know.